The curse of the year's end in a small, quiet village nestled between the mountains. New Year's Eve was both the most thrilling and cautious night of the year. Every December, as the end approached, the villagers whispered about an ancient curse. The legend stated that if candles weren't lit in every home before midnight, the shadow of the past year would come to claim souls. The beginning. Ollie, a curious young man, recently moved to the village as a school teacher. Unlike the villagers, he didn't believe in superstitions. He chuckled when he first heard about the curse from his neighbors and said, "Just bedtime stories to scare children. I won't light any candles tonight, and let's see what happens." Elder Jabir, an 80-year-old man, warned him gravely, "My boy, don't underestimate it. We've lost many because of this curse. Every year, someone is taken from among us," but Ollie brushed it off. The fateful night. That evening, a fierce storm knocked out the village's electricity. The villagers huddled in their homes, candles burning brightly, while Ollie sat alone in his small house by the fireplace, ignoring their warnings. As the clock approached midnight, an eerie sensation crept over him. The room grew unnaturally cold despite the roaring fire. Suddenly, he heard heavy footsteps echoing down the hallway leading to his room. "Who's there?" Ollie called out, his voice shaking. No one answered. When he glanced at the window, he saw a tall shadow slowly passing by. Convincing himself it was just the storm, he couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that something was terribly wrong. The shadow appears. At the stroke of midnight, the fire in the hearth extinguished abruptly, plunging the room into darkness. A strange figure emerged before Ollie, a tall shadow without features, trailing wisps of smoke like tendrils. It spoke in a voice that sounded like a gust of wind. "Why didn't you light the candles? Didn't you heed their warnings?" Ollie froze, paralyzed with fear. He tried to flee, but the shadow grabbed him, whispering in his ear, "Last year was full of mistakes, and I am here to collect the debt." A desperate escape. Ollie suddenly remembered a candle he'd seen in the kitchen. Summoning his courage, he bolted toward it, the entity following closely behind. Its steps were thunderous, its chilling breaths filling the air. Reaching the kitchen, Ollie lit the candle with trembling hands. As soon as the flame flickered to life, the shadow let out a deafening scream, gradually dissolving into the darkness. For a moment, Ollie felt relief. But when he turned around, he saw a message scrawled in crimson blood on the wall. "This won't be the last year." Uneasy peace since that night, Ollie followed the village traditions diligently. Yet, every New Year's Eve, as midnight approached, he felt a lingering unease. Had the curse truly ended, or was the shadow of the past year simply waiting for the right time to return? The villagers grew more fearful with each passing year, never daring to sleep on New Year's Eve. The candles had become symbols of survival, but a lingering question haunted them all: will this flame protect us forever? Whispers of doom. Years passed, and Ollie continued living in the village, trying to forget that dreadful night. But he wasn't the only one who had encountered the shadow. Strange occurrences became more frequent as New Year's Eve drew near. Eerie sounds echoing from the nearby woods, doors creaking open and slamming shut, and ghostly faces peering through windows. One night, just a day before New Year's Eve, Ollie visited Elder Jabir, seeking answers. Sitting across from the elder, Ollie asked anxiously, "Uncle, why does the shadow haunt us, and why are the candles the solution?" The elder gazed at him with fearful eyes and replied, "My boy, the story is ancient. The shadow ain't just a being, it's the embodiment of all the mistakes and sins committed during the year. If the candles aren't lit, it comes to collect its dues. But there's something else I haven't told you. Double quotes. Ollie froze and asked, "What is it?" With a heavy sigh, the elder explained, "The shadow never truly leaves. Each time we light the candles, we're merely postponing the inevitable. One day, our tricks will fail, and the shadow will return to finish what it started." The final night. On New Year's Eve, the villagers gathered in the main square, candles in hand, singing old prayers passed down by their ancestors. But this night was different. The sky grew ominously dark, and fierce winds extinguished the candles one by one. A child's scream pierced the air. It's here. All eyes turned toward the edge of the forest, where the shadow loomed, larger and darker than ever before. It approached with slow, deliberate steps and spoke in a chilling voice, "No more delays. Tonight is the reckoning." The villagers scattered in terror as the shadow began to consume everything in its path, absorbing the light and leaving only darkness, Ollie's sacrifice. In a moment of courage, Ollie decided to confront the shadow. Remembering Elder Jabir's words, he ran to the square, holding a single lit candle. Raising it high, he declared, "If you seek debts, take me and leave the others." The shadow paused, seeming to consider his offer. In a deep, menacing voice, it asked, "Your bravery is admirable. Are you truly willing to sacrifice yourself?" Ollie responded firmly, "Yes. Do what you must, but spare them." The shadow enveloped Ollie, darkness consuming everything. The last thing the villagers heard was a piercing scream before the shadow vanished, and light returned to the village.